29th May 2022 Madhuban Avyakt BapDada Om Shanti Revise 25th of February 1991. The Murli's title is To Make Your Thoughts and Actions the Same is Fulfilling the Responsibility of Love for God. Today, BapDada is pleased to see all his children who have a right to self-sovereignty, because only those who have a right to self-sovereignty can claim a right to world sovereignty for many births. So, today BapDada is asking you double foreign children the news of your self-sovereignty. Is the kingdom of each of you self-sovereigns functioning well? Are your cooperative companions who rule the kingdom with you always cooperative, accurately, at the right time, or do they sometimes also deceive you? However, many cooperative workers you have, organs, whether physical or subtle, are they all working under your orders? Whatever you order at any particular time, do they become your helpers at that time in that particular way? Do you hold a royal court every day? Are all the workers in your kingdom 100% obedient, faithful, and ever ready? How is everything? Is it good, very good, or very, very, very good? Is the royal court always successful, or do your cooperative workers sometimes create upheaval? You know the condition of the royal court, means the government of this old world, very well. There is neither law nor order. However, your royal court is lawful and always functions with Haji, means yes ended, and G Hazir, means I am present. To the extent that the ones with the right to the rule the kingdom are powerful, accordingly the cooperative companions of that kingdom also always move along automatically with signals. As soon as the one with the right gives an order, do not listen to this, do not do this, do not say this, they would work accordingly to those signals in a second. It wouldn't be that you give an order, do not look at that, and they look at that and then ask for forgiveness, saying that they made a mistake. If someone thinks about something after doing it, would you call that one a sensible companion? When you order your mind not to have best thoughts and to put a full stop in a second, it should not take 2 seconds. This is called a Yukta royal court. Have you become those with a right to such a kingdom? Do you hold court every day, or do you only issue an order when you remember? Every day, at the end of the day, check your cooperative workers. When your physical organs or workers repeatedly make a mistake, it is by your performing those wrong actions that it becomes a firm sanskar. Then it takes time and effort to change it. If you check it at that time and then give it that power to change, it will be put right for all time. If you simply repeatedly check yourselves and realize that it is wrong, that it is not right, and do not use some method to change it, or do not give it the power of knowledge, then transformation doesn't take place by repeatedly checking yourselves. Therefore, first of all, change your physical organs with the power of knowledge. Do not just think that it is wrong, because you clearly know what is right and you also know the way to follow what is right. If you continue to tell others transformation, will it not take place by just telling them, but as well as telling them also clarify the method they can use, and there will then be success. Those souls will then remain successful with their self-sovereignty, functioning well. The sign of those who are successful in their sovereignty is that they will constantly be content with their efforts. Along with that, all the souls who come into contact with such souls will constantly remain content with those souls, and thanks will always emerge from those souls, from their heart. From everyone's heart, the music of the song of Vah, Vah would always be emerging. Their ears would constantly hear the music of the thanks of Vah, Vah from everyone. The song is automatic. You don't need to play a tape recorded for this. There is no need for any musical instruments for this. This is an endless song. So have you become such a successful self-servants of the present time will attain the kingdom of the world in the future as the fruit of their success. If there isn't full success, if it is sometimes like this and sometimes like that, sometimes 100% success and sometimes just success, not 100% success, then such a self-sovereign soul would not attain the throne or the crown of a kingdom, but would become part of its royal family. One is to be seated on a throne, and the other is to be the royal family being seated on a throne. To be seated on the throne means that at the present time, too, you remain constantly seated on the double throne. What is the double throne? One is the immortal throne, and the other is the Father's heart throne. So, those who are always seated on the double throne, not those who are seated on it sometimes. Those who are always seated on the heart throne becomes constantly seated on the throne of the kingdom of the world. So check yourselves. Was I seated on the double throne throughout the day? If you were not seated on your throne, then your cooperative workers could not obey your orders. A king's orders are obeyed. If the king is not on his throne and issues an order, it is not obeyed. Nowadays, instead of a throne, they have a chair. The throne system has finished. They are not worthy, and so the throne has disappeared. If you are seated on your chair, everyone will obey you. If you are not seated on your chair, not everyone will obey you. However, you are not politicians in a chair. You are kings who have a right to self-sovereignty. Are all of you kings, or are some of you subjects? To be a Raj Yogi means to be a king. Look how multi-million times fortunate you are. The world, especially the countries abroad, are in upheaval. They are in confusion of war and defeat. Some are being defeated, some are at war, and others are in upheaval, hearing about the conditions everywhere. So they are in an upheaval of defeat or war, whereas you are lost in BapDada's love. God's love has pulled you from far away and brought you here. No matter what the circumstances are, they cannot stop you in front of God's love. God's love becomes the intellect of the wise and changes situations into an elevated stage. Among double foreigners too, see how those from Poland used to make so much effort, and they used to think that it was impossible. However, what does it feel like now? Even those from Russia used to think that it was impossible, even if they had to wait in a queue for 24 hours. We reached here. The difficult became easy. So you would say thanks, would you not? It will continue to happen like that all the time. Some think planes will stop flying at the end, so how will we come here? God's love had such a power that it will cast magic in someone's eyes so that they will be compelled to send you. However, You mustn't be those who just have love for God, but those who fulfill the responsibility of love. The Father has promised those who fulfill the responsibility of love that He will also continue to fulfill the responsibility of love in order for any problem to be overcome right until the end. Do not become those who have love only sometimes. Be those who always fulfill the responsibility of love. Many know how to love, but only a few know how to fulfill the responsibility of love, and this is why you are a handful out of many. BapDada is always pleased to see the double foreign children because you have become worthy of receiving his help with your courage, and you have broken many types of bondage of Maya and crossed many boundaries of different customs and systems and arrived here. This courage is no less. All of you have maintained courage well. New and old, both are sitting here. There are many who are the oldest ones of all, and also those who are new in the cycle. The courage of both is good. All of you are number one in maintaining this courage. Therefore, in what respect is there a number? Double foreigners make special effort, and in their heart to heart conversations, they say that they will definitely become part of the rosary of 108. Do any of you question whether you can become part of this? You will definitely become part of it. Sits in the rosary are reversed for double foreigners, but how many and who will become part of it? Baba will tell you as you progress further. So, why is a number created? Each of you says with your right, he is my Baba. So you have full rights, and yet, why is there a number? Of course, there will be a difference between someone who is number 1 and someone who is number 8. Why is there that much difference? Let alone the rosary of 16,000, just look at the 108. There is a vast difference between 1 and 108. So why is there a difference? All of you have passed and courage. However, in return for your courage, the help that you receive from the Father and the Brahmin family, to receive that help and to use it at the right time, to be able to use the help, that is the power that you need at that time. The difference is in the power to decide and the power to use it for a task. All of you receive an inheritance from the Almighty Authority Father, the one with all powers. It isn't that someone receives 8 powers and others receive 6 powers. You all receive all powers. You were told earlier, too, that you receive success by using the right method. The method of using the power for a task. One is the method of belonging to the Father. The second is the method of receiving an inheritance from the Father. And the third is the method of using that inheritance you have received from the Father. So there is a difference in the method of using it for a task. All of you have points. When you have a workshop on one topic, you extract so many points. So one method is to keep a point in your intellect, and the second is to become a point and to use the point, to become a point form and also to have points. Let there be a balance of the two. This is receiving number 1 success by using the number 1 method. Sometimes you go into the expansion of points, and sometimes you stabilize yourselves in a point form. Being a point form and having points have to be together. So increase the power of using this. Do you understand? If you want to become number 1, you have to do this. Nowadays, with the power of science, they have speeded up the method of doing something with the facilities provided by science. The amount of work that a living person is able to do In a certain time, the facilities of science, computers are able to do that same work so much more quickly. A computer even corrects a living person. So, since the facilities of science can speed up the power of using something, many such inventions have been made and are also being made. Then, Brahmin souls with the power of silence can make a task successful so fast and accurately. Take a decision in a second, and in a second, make the task successful in a practical way. You also need to have a balance of thinking and doing. Some Brahmin souls think too much, but at the time of doing something, they don't do as much as they think, whereas others being to do something and then think later as to whether they did it correctly or not. What should be done now? Thinking and doing should both be at the same time. What happens otherwise? You think that you are going to do something, but if you try to do it after thinking, then while thinking about it, the time or the circumstances for carrying that out changes. You then say, I was going to do it. I had thought about it. Since instruments of science that have a fast speed are being invented, what can you not do in a second? The instruments for destruction are moving forward at a fast speed. And so, what can the powerful facilities of the silence power of establishment not do? Now matter is invoking you masters. You don't order her, and so the elements are creating so much chaos. If you masters become ready, the elements will welcome you. Are you ready for that? Or are you now becoming ready? Even until now, your devotees are praising the full scale preparations. Do you know your praise? Now check, are you full of all virtues, completely viceless, completely non-violent, the most elevated beings, following the highest code of conduct, and 16 celestial degrees full? When you are full in everything, you can then understand that the masters are ready. However, if there is a percentage and thus, then understand that the masters are not ready. You are a child, but you have not yet become a master. When you are, the elements will then welcome you, masters. You are the children of the Father. That is fine. You have passed and that. However, to become full of all these five things means to become a master. Should we order the elements? Acha, you will become ready in the year of tapasya, will you not? Should we order it then? This year of tapasya is the last chance, or will you then say, give us a little chance? You will not ask for it then, will you? Acha, to all the souls everywhere who have a right to self-sovereignty, to all the special souls who are constantly seated on the double throne, to the souls who have been blessed and who make the powers of thinking and doing equal, to the children who are conquerors of the heart and fulfill the responsibility of love for God, love, remembrance, and namaste from the Dilaram, means comforter of hearts, BapDada. The spiritual children says namaste and good morning to the spiritual father. Avyakt BapDada meeting groups. You have the happiness, do you not, that while living in Maharashtra, you have truly become great. Those people are great just in name, they are Mahatmas, means great souls, whereas you are great souls in a practical way. You have this happiness, do you not? Great souls constantly stay in the higher stage. Those people sit on a high seat and their disciples would sit below them. They themselves would be seated high, but were you seated on the seat of a high stage? The higher stage is the high seat. When you say on the seat of a high stage, Maya cannot come. She will consider you to be great and bow down to you. She will not attack you, but will consider herself to be defeated. It is when you come down from a high seat that Maya attacks. If you constantly stay on a high seat, Maya will not dare to come to you. She cannot climb up. So you have received a seat so easily. In front of your fortune, your renunciation is nothing. What have you renounced anyway? You have your jewelry, you have your clothes, and you are living at home. If you have renounced anything, it is rubbish you have renounced. So, you are the great souls who are constantly seated on an elevated seat. You have claimed a right to elevated attainments, even more than you dreamed of. You have the happiness of this fortune, do you not? There is no happiness in the world. They have attained money illegally, but they don't have happiness. All are poor in terms of the treasure of happiness. They are beggars. You are full of the treasure of happiness. How long will this happiness last? It will continue for the whole cycle. They will receive happiness even from your non living images. So check whether you have accumulated this much happiness. It isn't that it will only last for 1 or 2 births and that it will then finish. Is it? Accumulate so much stock that it will be with you for innumerable births. However much someone has accumulated, that much happiness and intoxication will be visible on their faces. Whether you say anything or not, your face will speak. They say the Brahma Kumaris are always happy. We don't know what has happened to them. They are happy even at times of sorrow. Whether you say anything or not, your face and your actions speak. The sign of being a Brahma Kumar or Kumari is that you remain happy. Days of sorrow have finished. You have received so many treasures, so how can you experience sorrow? Acha. Blessing. May you be a world transformer and use your stage of completion to order matter. Explanation. When you world transformer souls collectively have the thought of transforming the world with your complete and perfect stage, matter will then begin the dance of total upheaval. Wind, earth, ocean, water, the upheaval of all of this will cleanse everything. However, the elements will only obey your orders when your cooperative physical senses, your mind, intellect, and sanskar obey your orders. Along with this, you must have such a high stage of powerful tapasya that everyone has the thought of transformation at the same time, and the elements will then become present. Slogan. Continue to create everyone's fortune with your elevated fortune and to remind them constantly of God. Om Shanti